Good morning, sports fans. This is George with Custom Tied Flies and Guide Service. This morning, boys and girls, we are going to be tying a bench fly. I love bench flies. Bench flies are really fun. Bench flies come from when you're done with a pattern and you got all this, extra stuff laying around on your bench. You kind of look at it and you dream some stuff up, and you look at this and look at that and think, wow. If I put that together just the right way, it might look like a sculpin juvenile, or it might look like a caddis adult, or whatever. So, excuse me. Um, Today we're going to be tying a bench fly. Just basically named it the Olive BF number 8. BF is bench fly. It is kind of a sculpin juvenile look. So when it's done, it's going to look like this. So what I've done, I have a Mustad 79 580, which is a 5X long streamer hook, and crimped my barb down. And this particular hook comes in a down eye. So I took my needle nose pliers and I smashed the eye so that it would be straight instead of down. So excuse me, let's get going here. Using Danville Flymaster and a 140D for the back part of this fly, and then I'm going to use Semperfly 12-aught for the front part. So here's the back part. Just get tied in here. Run your thread all the way to the back. And then back forward about 1/8 of an inch or so. So for the tail, I'm using some scrap. This is 3/4 inch EP sparkle brush. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim off a piece of it. Like this. I'm going to attach that. And you can measure if you got it big enough. It should be about a gap width in length. And then on top of that, I have some leftover EP streamer brush in 1.5 inches. So I'm going to trim off a piece of that. I'm going to try to even the ends up. Get that measured in. See this big long part up here? We're just going to trim that off. Get that measured up again. Take a couple of loose wraps to get it right where you want it. And lash it down. It's got a copper wire rib. So I'm using UTC copper wire in a size BR. Get that lashed down. Take my old scissors that I got the piece of tape on. Now the trick to building this is, so I'm using, for dubbing, I'm using this fulling mill rabbit zonker, and I've trimmed the hairs off of it nice and long and full of underfur. And I'm just going to dub that on there nice and loose. I don't want a tight rope. I want a big fluffy rope. A big fluffy rope. Not a tight rope. Because I'm going to pick this out in a few seconds. And you get the loose rope by just taking a clump and putting it on the thread and then just giving it a light twist. That's how you get the loose rope. And I want a fat body. Put a couple half hitches in there. Bring my bobbin cradle over. I'm going to wrap my wire forward in open wraps. I'm going to just put a 3-turn whip on that. Trim that off. And I got my dubbing teaser. I'm going to tease that dubbing out. Just kind of pick off what comes loose. And then what doesn't get picked out from in between the wires, I'm going to take a bodkin and just going to tease that out from in between the wire because I want a nice big fat body. And this is going to have a lot of movement. There we go. Nice big fat body. Now I'm going to switch to my Semperfly 12-aught. And the fins, this is what's going to help make it a sculpin look. I'm using an India hen neck. I'm pulling the fin feathers from the middle part here of the neck. And you want these hackles to be about as wide as the body, and then you're going to peel back some fibers so that when you put it on, it's going to be about the length of the body. That's a little long. Still a little long. There we go. You got to be careful when you're putting this on. You don't want the stem to turn on you. Lash stem down good. Okay. Now, I'm going to use some soft beeswax to wax my thread up. You can use, low tack like loon wax or whatever, but for this application, I think it's too bulky and sticky. I'm going to make a dubbing loop right here, being mindful as to not interfere with the fins. And I'm just going to take my loose fur and put it in my dubbing loop. You don't want real big clumps in here because it'll just come out later when you go to turn it. Just a little more. See how it's sticking on my fingers because my fingers are sweaty? There we go. And I got my little dubbing loop crank tool. Make sure that my fibers are where I want them. Oh, that's going to end up coming out. And that's not going to be enough. Sometimes you got to redo. There we go. when you want it, now here you want it tight, but you don't want it real tight. So about like that. I lick my fingers and I stroke those fibers back so that they'll lay straight back. That's what you're looking for right there. All right, and then I have some natural India saddle. I'm going to get a nice long fibered. I'm going to stroke these back, and I'm going to check to see where that's going to fall. You want it to fall about midway. Okay. Trim that guy off there. Take my hackle pliers. I'm going to stroke these back and take a wrap. And just keep stroking them back as I wrap. You don't want to get any of the fluff in there. There we go. Take 3 turns just to secure it. Trim that off. And then we're going to do a 5 and 3 whip here. A little touch of head cement on there. Now, the nice thing about using this kind of rabbit fur, it's what's called hydroscopic, so it sucks water in. So you don't really have to put any weight to it. And if you pitch this straight upstream, it'll sink down, and as you strip it, it'll rise up in the column. Now, a juvenile sculpin, when he's moving around, he doesn't always stick right to the bottom. A lot of times he comes up to get something or other off of the surface, or he's up in the top part of the column but not all the way up. And excuse me, this will do that. This will slick back and it'll pulse as you strip it. You can also pitch it in a cross and down, and if you wanted to get it to sync, you could put split shot on the leader. Excuse me. You could also, and I haven't done that with this, but you could also put lead in the body if you wanted to, or you could put a bead on the head if you wanted to. Of course, that's completely up to you because you're the person behind the device. So, you know, you can do whatever you want. But, excuse me, here you go. This is Olive Benchfly in number 8. Thank you for taking a look at this, spending some time with me. And, excuse me, of course, if you like this, if you find it interesting, you can like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Excuse me. And you will also find this and many other patterns on the Custom Tide Virtual Fly Shop at www.custom-tied.com. That's custom-tied.com. Have a splash, don't forget the dash. And you can also find it on the Facebook page at Custom Tire 02. That's CUSTOMTYER 02. Well, like I said, thanks for spending some time with me, and happy tying.